You know, people are always talking about how they can see the blur around things and it shows you that there's CGI. Well, what's funny about that is that, you can see that there's a lot of blur around this hand here and off the top of his helmet, a little bit in his chest, the arm that's back here. Can you see that blur that's on there? It around the edges of it, and you wouldn't say that this is CGI at all, but this is a common photograph taken with a real nice camera. This is a sports photograph and stuff, and it shows you, you can get detail, like you can even actually see the A and the fingers of his hand, and that's real good. But look at this blur that runs way outside of it. And, you see that in this picture, and it's all, oh, that's just artifacts. But then whenever you see it on the UFO, you go, ah, it's CGI. I saw this, and there's this giant rant on it, and how it's CGI and it's all faked out, and people have looked at it and realized that there's all this wiggle that's all down in these things, and it's just fake and everything. The guy didn't even say it was a UFO. It's a weird cloud formation. It looks like somewhere up in Maryland here. They're looking at one of these old ships, like the USS Constitution, and just a few miles inland, there was a nuclear attack because it made a fireball and went up and going, and the sun's way over here over your back right shoulder, and it made this effect right here, which looks very nuclear bombish, and it really, and the sun effect that's in there. And this is the famous picture of the Battle of LA, supposedly, that they had, and you can see that there's something caught in that glow up there, and it looks very craft shaped. There are people who have enhanced this and found something that looks very much like a craft in the center of it. But you can pretty much see that they're pinpointing something there as it comes across, and they're shooting at it like crazy. All those white dots around it are all anti-aircraft, and they had shot hundreds and hundreds of rounds over hours trying to kill this thing as it hovered around. I guess it was just investigating us or something. Seems so very odd, though. There's just something logically you have to think to yourself that, whenever I was a kid, I thought it would take us 10,000 years from where we were to get to Star Trek. Now that we've accelerated so much, it looks like in a couple of hundred years we may be at Star Trek ability. And so, if you just think of a society that would be a couple of hundred years more advanced than us, then they could be these people that are coming around here. It's that simple that it could happen. Now, we are so remote, and there's so many people in the galaxy, and there's so many things going on. But at the same time, we apparently have been picked out by the gods to have something going on. So why wouldn't we actually have somebody coming and watching over us like the Watchers? Another UFO. This was caught by astronaut Bob Dean, and this is actually his picture here of it. And NASA says that they believe they see stars through it. That the idea with this may have been a reflection off of something that they were taking, and then they realized that it wasn't a reflection, and yet they can still see a couple of stars through it. Perhaps like in this area right here, that dot, this dot here, maybe even these two little dots over here, that those could be stars that you're actually seeing through this thing, and it is semi-transparent or invisible. Here's a NASA feed picture that someone snapped a shot out of, and I'm sure you can see the arrow pointing at the little dot that was there. And NASA tried to refute this and say that this was the actual secondary stage that they had let loose. The only problem with that statement is they're going the other way. So the secondary booster would be behind you right now. It couldn't end up in front of you for. It would take a long time for you to go all the way around the planet and come back and then see your own butt. So that's in front of them. And then they said, "Oh, that's your secondary booster," and they're like, "Well, no, that's behind us." This is from a recent UFO sighting that was in Mexico also, and I don't know if you can actually see the little mountain that's down here at the bottom on each one of these photographs, but this guy took these photographs. He said they were about 3 to 4 seconds apart, as fast as his iPhone would take the pictures and stuff, because he noticed this little dot coming up, and then it did this thing and danced around, and then it started coming at him looking, and he watched it come at him, so he took a picture, and then the thing started coming at him, and it got bigger and bigger, and about 3 seconds later it's this big, and he still says it's probably behind the mountain here. And then the thing within 3 seconds goes all the way from there to where he is here, and as it goes past him, the back side of it isn't lit like the sun. He said right here it's just about the size of the sun, maybe a hair bigger, but as it went past him, the back side of it wasn't lit, but it looked like an eclipse, and then the thing disappeared. Okay, hopefully you can see this picture pretty good, but this is a Texas hill country close to Mexico. Probably about 180 miles away from the border. Great deer hunting country, by the way. And this is a guy named Villa. He's a Mexican man. And they noticed that down in here, let's see if I can show you, down in there, that grayish area there, that their field was on fire. His son told him his field's on fire. So he came and he was going to get in the truck that's right here and go down and check it out. Whenever he looked down there to see what his son was talking about, he saw this silver thing that was out there. And he's like, what the hell is that? So he looked at it for a second, saw that it was a UFO looking thing, went and grabbed his camera, came back out. When he's standing right here, he squared himself up good and went to take the picture. When he did, the UFO started flying at him rapidly, and he said he stayed still and took the picture, and then he ran to the left. And or I guess he ran one way or the other, but it flew over the top of him, and after it flew over the top of him, they lost sight of it with instantly, like boom, and it almost seemed like whenever he started to take the picture is whenever the thing just started coming that way.